Tanzania needs to be stopped, and they need to be stopped right now. Whether it's by other African countries, whether it's the general international community, but somebody needs to step in because Tanzania is going to mess up the fight against the coronavirus. Why do I say that? Well, Tanzania is a country of 60 million people. That's a huge number of people. And led by their president, John Magufuli, this country does not believe that they have the coronavirus among them. They've stopped reporting coronavirus data to the WHO. They are no longer social distancing. They are not wearing masks. And instead, they've launched a campaign to use herbs and pray about it. And they believe that they will prevent the pandemic. It's not there. And they're cracking down on news reporting on the pandemic. And that's just a big problem. Why is it a big problem? Well, it's because Tanzania is so central to this part of Africa. It's got ports and it feeds so many other countries through trade. So you're talking about from Burundi, Rwanda, Uganda, and even in the interior DRC, all the way to Zambia, Malawi, and even the northern part of Mozambique. They depend on Tanzania. So if this country is not doing anything against the coronavirus, it means that even if all these other countries go on lockdown, all it will take is just one tracker coming in from Tanzania and bringing the virus back, and then they will have to go back into lockdowns again. So Tanzania needs to be stopped right now. Already, some travelers from Tanzania are reportedly carrying strains of the feared South African variant of the coronavirus, and they went to Tanzania. So it means that Tanzania is now a hub of coronavirus transmission. Remember, the borders are open. Now you can go to Tanzania. You don't need a COVID-19 test to go there. So when Tanzania stopped reporting virus data to the WHO, the virus cases did not stop inside Tanzania. So, for example, on the border with Zambia, 100 people tested positive coming in from Tanzania, and they had to be sent back. On the border with Uganda, 15 people tested positive coming in from Tanzania, and they had to be sent back. It means that the virus is boiling and bubbling inside Tanzania, and all it would take is that those people, feeding it to other countries. And right now, for example, countries like Malawi cannot do without Tanzania. They depend on Tanzania for almost 90% of their trade. All the trade that comes to Malawi has to pass through Tanzania, and that's just not good if Tanzania is not going to lock down. So this is not just going to affect Africa, it's going to affect the rest of the world, because, for example, right now safari season is on, and many Europeans are going to flock to Tanzania because they're being attracted by the fact that they don't have to go into lockdown or quarantine or anything. And that's dangerous in the long run, because many of the people that travel and spread the virus are not going to die, but they go back home to their countries, and then they feed it to vulnerable populations, people who are going to die from the virus. So Tanzania right now should be censured, whether it's by the UN, WHO. Someone needs to come and say, we live in the 21st century where you're supposed to play the game with the others. You can't do I am an island in 2021, and someone needs to come and stand against the Tanzanians, because they are derailing the fight against the pandemic, and that's not how we should play the game. And there is the SADC, there is the COMESA, there is the AU, there is the UN, and all these international bodies that have got a sway over Tanzania. They should step in. Many African countries cannot do anything against Tanzania because many African countries don't trade with each other, so they don't have any say or any sway against neighbors and countries like Tanzania. And it's only countries like China or the EU that can actually move Tanzanian agenda in any sensible way. But something needs to happen before something bad happens. For example, this virus can mutate into something serious in Tanzania, where it's being left to run riot. So people need to come together and stand up to people like Magufuli. Magufuli is an interesting character. If you've read up on him, When he came to power, he inspired a lot of people in Africa with his frugal ways. He could be seen on a Maya bicycle, and he doesn't like foreign travel. I think he's not been anywhere outside Eastern Africa, and he's of cheap taste, and many people like that. But the moment he opens his mouth or you hear his policies, the guy is, it's like listening to a tribal chief from the 1800s in rural Africa. Then, for example, he's supported bans on pregnant girls returning to school after they give birth, which is so old school if you listen to it. So to him, if you get pregnant, you should be kicked out of school, and you should never ever return to school. For example, he hates homosexuality. He doesn't like the media. He stopped a live broadcast of the parliamentary proceedings in Tanzania, and press freedom is going down in Tanzania. He cramps down on his opposition, and it's everything that an African dictator dreams of when they are sleeping. So a guy like that, and when he's projecting these old school methods of dealing with 21st century problems, is going to be a problem to the rest of Africa. And I hope that many people can wake up and stand up to him to say, no, you're not going to do that, because whatever you do inside your country is going to affect everyone else. So people need to stand up and face up to this guy, because he's going to take down the rest of the progress. Right now, South Africa is in what? It's third or fourth lockdown already. And after they finish with that, the cases go down, they open the borders. All it would take is a few Tanzanians going to South Africa, or South African tourists going to Tanzania, and then the cases will start going back up. So what should we do? That is the dilemma of living in the 21st century. What one family is eating in Wuhan can affect the rest of the world. So we need to work together, and working together needs coordination. And when problems like Magufuli arise, people should not just speak about it. They should do something. So I wish the international community would step in now, because Magufuli is a danger to society, is a menace to society, if I can use that reference, because that's just not on. He's out there talking about using prayer, how vaccines are. He says he will not accept vaccines, even if they are free. He will not accept them, because he says vaccines are an evil project of Western nations, and he says don't let Western nations use you as guinea pigs. Magufuli, please. While everyone is scrambling to get their hands on the vaccine, he has got these conspiratory thoughts and such backward ways of looking at life, and that's just not on. And again, he can afford big time healthcare, but for the rest of the Tanzanians, that they could not be so lucky. Already there are reports that hospitals in Tanzania are reaching capacity, and some people are talking about burials happening at night in Tanzania. So talking about Western projects, if you go to Tanzania, it's a very traditional country. But one thing you notice when you go there, I've driven from the inland border of Tanzania all the way to the coast, to Dar es Salaam. When you're in Tanzania, you don't see anything African. You see, it's Christianity. There's so many churches around the way, and an equal number of mosques as well. I think it's half Christian and half Muslim. You go to Dar es Salaam, the population is so mixed, and one thing is that this doesn't look like it's Africa. The food has got so much Arabian influences. The language, Swahili, is a mixture of so many languages, including Japanese and Arabic. So when the dressing, if you go on the streets of Dar es Salaam, the women wear dresses so long, I don't think they need to sweep the streets, because it's so traditional, and everything is foreign. The architecture. So when they talk about foreign influences, one wonders what foreign influences is Magufuli talking about, because the country is already a foreign project, But the real problem from what I've seen is that Tanzania needs the revenue from tourism. They really get huge amounts of money from tourism. And if they lock down, or if they say they have a coronavirus problem, people will not have to go to Tanzania, and that means no dollars for the country, and it spells doom for the country and the economy. So we do understand their opposition to the coronavirus, but maybe there can be other ways of trying to make money than to drag the rest of the continent down with it. So those are my thoughts on Tanzania. I don't know how to say fuck you in Swahili, but if I could, I could say fuck you to the Tanzanian president, because he's such a douchebag.